Have you ever heard when people show you who they are, believe them? I think this is such a reductive statement. I'm like, my goodness. Do I feel like when people say things like that, they don't factor in the great capacity for change we as humans have, especially if you're younger. When you're older, the older you are, the more likely you're going to be locked in negative patterns of behaviors or positive patterns of behavior. But that doesn't mean you can't change. That doesn't mean you can't change your mindset, change your belief systems, and then do something different. There's always a chance. We are so adaptable. Our brains are so adaptable. We have great capacity for change. So I've never understood this. I think that when evaluating people's patterns of behaviors, it absolutely makes sense when people say people don't change, because change is actually really difficult. It is difficult to choose to see oneself. It is difficult to choose to unlearn behaviors, unlearn the different modes of socializations that we've had based on a different context. It's really difficult to sit with ourselves and to say, oh wow, I've been doing this wrong, I've been doing this wrong, because issues in our egos come into play, pride comes into play, all these different things. But people have great capacity for change at all times. You never know when someone's going to change. To say when people show you who they are, believe them, that's literally just putting someone in a box and saying they will never change. You have no way of knowing that. Nobody has any way of knowing if someone's going to change or not, because it only takes one trigger, one specific reason. It only takes something strong enough in a person's life to decide, I've got to change. I think about, like, for example, if someone is incredibly immature, right? But then they have something that occurs in their life that all of a sudden they got to shape up. Change behavior occurs because of that trigger, right? Think about it. Like, for even just thinking about a woman, when they get pregnant, that's a big enough trigger for changes to occur, right? So I just think when people say, when people show you who they are, believe them, it's just so reductive. And it's a sign that people are unwilling to be open-minded, unwilling to give people the grace and patience and the room really to embrace change. Now, oftentimes it also is because people are often rigid. But I also think that it's just so important to allow people the freedom, the potential to change if they choose to. What do you think?